Hello everyone, Josh here, and I welcome you again to COE. So today's episode is just a reflection on today's date, which is the 31st of August 2020, and in my country of Trinidad and Tobago, it is a celebration of independence, and it had me thinking about what it means to be independent. So in the truest essence, to be independent is to not require things or people or events to be in your life for you to function comfortably in the way you do things. Um, but I also want to think about in everything that I do, what makes me dependent on things, what makes me dependent on people. And that's a question that you yourself should ask. So, what really makes you dependent on things is what other people, things, events can provide that you can do for yourself. Uh, the competency of individuals to function in hard times during troubling situations makes you dependent. Children are dependent on their parents because they don't have enough years of experience and wisdom to know how not to be taken advantage of, know how to spend money, work, be physically strong, or know how to heal themselves when they are sick. We have dependence on things because we have lost our way of navigating the world without a GPS. We don't know how to hit walls with the kind of strength and vigor as people have done without power tools. We don't know the skills of measuring things with our eyes, so that's why we have rulers. And we are dependent on tools and technology to function with ease in today's society. And we also have a sense of dependence on events taking place. Our need to have cultural events take place, the way how we need carnival season to be an opportunity to really relax and get the year of stress and hard work and continuous effort just be gone in 2 days time. Going to cultural events like New Fire Festival, or going to a Huse celebration in St. James, or running about for to go and light some deer by your friend house for Diwali and enjoying your Emancipation Day because it gives you a sense of pride for your ancestry. And I think that we have a dependency on these events taking place because they give us an opportunity to reflect and enjoy life in ways that we don't normally do on a regular basis that we actually should. Now, in light of this kind of dependency, a lot of times we tend to be excessively dependent on things that we use in everyday life. Now, take for instance, people being dependent on coffee to start their day. That is something that we should not be doing. Why should we not be able to function without a hot beverage or a cold beverage on a morning when water is most needed for us to function? It is a problematic thing when something as simple as a hot drink that you need to have on a morning, that you're dependent on getting, is the sole key factor for the progress and for the functionality of your day. If your entire day, the success of your endeavors for the day is reliant on something being present when it really isn't essential to how you navigate these adversities, then that's something you have to check for yourself. So how do you identify your incessant need to have things in your life? Check your language. See how you respond when something that you have grown so accustomed to, how do you respond to it vocally? Do you just jump up and say, oh God, but if I have this horse, why go and do boy? I can't do nothing in life. If that is the first thing coming to your mind when something that you have grown accustomed to isn't present, then you have to realize, okay, I need to start cutting some strings and becoming less reliant and building up a sense of resilience to not have certain things in my life. That is giving yourself independence. So what are the types of independence that you could give yourself? Physical independence, for one. Not requiring sweet sugary drinks or a pre-workout to go and exercise is a good form of physical independence. Being physically strong means that you're not dependent on others to lift objects, and things cannot happen if they are not around. Having some kind of physical independence whereby you navigate the world without GPS, having a sense of direction, training yourself to know where north, south, east, and west, and identifying landmarks can give you a sense of competency that is quite liberating, to know that, hey, if the world goes to a bunch of mess, then you can function when you need to. Having emotional independence is not requiring a certain type of aggressiveness or empathy or needing to feel sorry for yourself so that you could manipulate a situation to your benefit. If it is that you can be emotionally detached from the ill-perceived outcomes of things that happen in your life, then you are able to navigate your world with logic and reason, and it increases your chances of making smart decisions. So another type of independence that you could look at is having financial independence in your life. Knowing that you don't need to rely on a paycheck month by month, knowing that you could give yourself to have 3 and 4 months of a salary in your bank account, that in case something goes bad, you're able to sustain yourself a couple of months if you get laid off. These are the kinds of things that you have to think about financially. Having enough cash in the event something goes wrong, like with your car. Every time you get a bonus, that when your car want to act up, some flat tire, oil change had to get fixed. And even when it is, a health situation arises, you don't want to be now scrambling for money or putting yourself into even further debt by not having a proper cash flow or identifying your behavioral patterns when certain sales come up or when you see things come up on a site. You have this impulse buying. I know that's something I had to work on for myself, and I needed to give myself financial independence by not relying on my salary all the time, so that I can invest in myself and get ahead in life. So when should you make yourself less dependent on others? When you realize that you cannot make a decision on your own, that you need to have a certain person present, and you can't make an innovative decision. You can't take the initiative. You can't make a decision based on all the circumstances and your experiences, and you always need a second and a third and a fourth opinion. That's when you realize you need to give yourself some more independence. And how do you go about doing that? It's simple. Do things that are uncomfortable. Learn a new methodology of doing things that are outside of your comfort zone. Learning a skill that has always troubled you. For me, not being dependent on my calculator, because I really don't like to do mathematics, but in the real world, I might not be able to just put up computations real quick. I might need to give somebody an answer now. Giving myself that resilience to being a weak mathematician can give me the strength and the independence to not require a certain person to be present, right? You should also look to make yourself less dependent on others or on things when you realize, again, like I said before, when the success of your day and the success of your activities are reliant on many different things. When the culmination of let's say 5 things in your life needed to be present for you to function in society, that's when you have a problem. If it is that you're lacking 1 or 2 things and you can't function unless you have that, then you have to either review your systems, review your way of thinking, review your methodology, review your practices, whether it's in your workplace, the way how you communicate with your friends. If you have to talk with leaders, and when leaders, you have to talk to your followers. If it is that you're dependent on having a certain person present to go over conflict and dealing with conflict resolution in your life, if it is that you're not able to do things on your own, then you're going to be slave to the whims and fancies of other people, and then you're really not living life how it's meant to be lived. So thinking about all these things, it really gave me an opportunity to reflect on my own life, where I know I had to make some changes in terms of depending on technology, for instance. So today I had to shoot this video like 4 times because my memory card on my camera is not working properly, but I also had an app ready and in place behind the scenes in the event something like that happens. And I'm just using my phone right now. So not being dependent on one type of technology to get this video out to you today has afforded me the freedom and the liberty to produce content that is meaningful for you. And in that same way, you should always give yourself as much options as possible. I think that is where the real golden nugget lies with truly being independent. Our society is independent because we did not totally rely on our production on oil. People were able to stimulate the economy by selling within itself, creating products, creating arts and craft, creating and producing our own food and growing our own meals. I think in our lives, we have to see ourselves as a nation as well, seeing that to be independent of others and only need what is best in them for us to be better. And what we should aim towards is interdependence, where what we give to others, they will be quick and equally invested and equally excited to give back to us. That is how we have to navigate the world as human beings, where we move from being dependent to being independent and to having interdependency, where we are always encouraged to have the discipline to maintain the standard and wanting to be continuously in a state of production and making sure that we continually give to each other and in essence be receiving from each other, and to also be tolerant of the differences and the diversities of other people's way of being, so that we can identify and really see the beauty of what others have to give. And it would start with having that openness to each other. So I would like to close this video with a quote from Marcus Aurelius, who says, "Be indifferent from the things that make no difference." And I think that is a beautiful quote, in the sense that when you do not focus on things that have no true bearing or have no true meaning in how you navigate the world, you keep yourself free to focus and rely and interact with the things that could give you the strength and the endurance and the capacity to navigate the hardships in which your life is facing on an everyday basis. So that being said, I want to thank you again for joining me in this video, and I hope that with all that's been said, that you do see your way through whatever hardships and troubles that you are facing. And like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, give yourself an opportunity to truly become interdependent and not be so reliant on things that you don't need. And yeah, happy Independence Day.